Because the owners of this country know the truth. It's called the American dream, because you have to be asleep to believe it.
When you listen to them, these veterans are continually telling us that they're not quite sure what they fought for. And they are unsure that the vision of America that they fought to preserve still exists today. And they're questioning whether the sacrifices at all were worth it, in fact. Ladies and gentlemen, let's listen to this 100-year-old World War II veteran.
I don't know. I've lived a good life. I mean, I've had a lot of happiness, smiling, telling everybody that everything was beautiful every day. If I went into my church and didn't say everything was beautiful, they'd think I was sick. And I'm not that way. I mean, I sincerely believe in this old world that everything is beautiful. I mean, if I wake up in the morning and see these plants out here and all those flowers that are in there and the green grass on the ground, that's beautiful. And people don't realize what they have. They bitch about it. They do. And then nowadays, I am so upset that the things we did and the things we fought for and the boys that died for it, it's all gone down the drain. Our country's gone to hell in a handbasket. We haven't got the country we had when I was raised. Not at all. Nobody will have the fun I had. Nobody will have the opportunity I had. It's just not the same. That's not what our boys, that's not what they died for. It's just not it. No, I'm so sorry.
Are you listening? Are you listening to your veterans? Benny, you found someone who was clearly emotional, and certainly this isn't something that all World War II veterans believe, that their fight was completely in vain, that their sacrifice was for nothing because they don't recognize their country, because they feel like a foreigner inside of their own country, because they are the ones who are discriminated against now inside of their country. What they fought for, what they fought to preserve, was not preserved. In fact, the enemies were brought in and were shoved into Section 8 housing right next to them. Oh, this is something that many World War II veterans believe, in fact.
The real truth?
Yeah.
I feel like a foreigner in my own country lots of times, and I don't like it. It makes my heart real heavy. And I just hope we can pull out of this. There's too much Hollywood going on in Washington all the time. The important subjects they don't cover. So the thing is, I hope all the guys will rally up and we'll go back and straighten it all out.
I feel like a foreigner in my own country, he says. The last World War II veteran said that the opportunities that I had, that I fought for, are not available today to young people. Well, Benny, you're just finding like two American men, and those two American soldiers have, these two guys have been propagandized, perhaps, by Fox News or right-wing media. Okay, let's go across the pond, shall we? To our great ally, England. And let's go ahead and listen to what this World War II vet had to say just 72 hours ago.
What does Remembrance Sunday mean for you? What is your message?
My message is, I can see in my mind's eye those rows and rows of white stones of all the hundreds of my friends and everybody else that gave their lives for what? The country of today. No, I'm sorry. The sacrifice wasn't worth the result that it is now.
Oh, well, I'm
What
sorry.
what do you mean by that, though? At this point?
What we fought for, and what we fought for was our freedom. We find that even now it's darn sight worse than what it was when I fought for it.
Now, you could argue that this British veteran, is talking about his freedom, the freedom, perhaps like the censorship regime in the UK, where you're liable to get arrested for sharing the wrong meme. That's a matter of fact. But I think what many of these men are truly talking about is the dream of having a free life. And that dream, of course, has been utterly stolen. Here, let's look at the data. Let's look at the data, what it looks like when these men were returning from war. What is true freedom? Thank you, Klein. Next chart. Thank you. What is true freedom? True freedom, and this is biblical, this is spiritual. True freedom is being able to buy a house, being able to put up a fence, have a dog, raise your children in peace, and inside of a fortress, your fortress, to be able to pay off that house without usury rates, to have a dog that runs around in the yard, to have a wife who cooks sourdoughs for you in that home and nurtures your children. As a man, you are protecting that house, and you are sitting out front on your porch with a shotgun in a rocking chair with a bug zapper and some country music playing low as the sun sets, and you listen to your children play. True freedom is having equity in the American dream, a home that is more than just a plot of land. It is a place where all of your memories are woven together, dug deep into the dirt, sunk deep into the earth that God made, and he's not making more of it. It is precious. It is an opportunity to pass on that legacy, to pass that on to your children. Generational wealth is what comes from home ownership. Let's go ahead and check in on home ownership. Right when these guys got back from the war, and I guess you could put up a lot of charts. There's a lot of really troubling charts. For instance, the attendance of church. You could put up charts when it comes to graduation rates, literacy rates, rates of enlistment in the military, job rates for Native Americans, meaning people who were born here, the people who built this country. But I'm going to choose this because I actually believe that home ownership is the key to unlocking everything in life. Estimated percent of 30-year-olds who are married and homeowners. The Greatest Generation had 55% married with a home by 30 years old. Married with a home by 30. What's happened to that with every passing generation? Every passing generation. It's been carved and whittled down to nothing. It is now resting at what looks like approximately 10% based on this graph. 10%. From 55 to 10% of 30-year-olds. The average age of a home buyer is 39 years old right now in America. 39 years old is certainly past the window of peak fertility for young women. It is past the window of the prime and golden eras for fatherhood for young men. You wonder why there's population collapse? It's because the system that was designed to preserve the American dream that these men were fighting for was sold out from under you to multinational corporations, foreigners who hate our land, the foreigners that many of these men fought against, and to big banks and corporations. BlackRock, Vanguard, LLCs. You know, these men who are sitting there weeping in their uniforms, they didn't have to compete against a multinational globalist Wall Street entity that was gobbling up every single family home on the block in order to rent it to illegal aliens. And that is precisely what's happened. Scroll down, please. cumulative total of foreign-born white-collar workers in the U.S. by year. And I use white-collar because, well, these are the kind of jobs that everyone would see as good, solid, paying incomes where you could actually create further generational wealth, stability. Look at what's happened since these men fought. It was less than 1% when those guys got back from war. And now it is cresting 20%. 20% of the U.S. workforce is foreign born when it comes to the highest paying jobs. And it gets worse. Immigrants are using taxpayer money to purchase homes. FHA loan locks to immigrants without permanent residency, including H-1B visa holders. Look at this. The American dream has not only been stolen from you, it has been sold to illegals. And you are the one with the bill. Do you understand that this is what these men are crying about? They sold the American dream to illegals and made you pay for it. Thank God for President Trump. June 2025, after the FHA ban on criminal aliens getting subsidized housing. We are about to witness the battle of a lifetime right now. The battle of our lifetime is going to be what happens with people in my age demographic. I am not 40. I'm on the wrong side of 30. But everyone under the age of 40 is looking out at an American economy that has been rigged against them. They cannot buy a house. They cannot buy a car. They cannot buy gasoline. They cannot afford groceries. And they're saying, what was this all for? What did we fight for? What did our grandfathers fight for? I'm a heritage American. My family built this place. And they look across the street and they see a family that came here illegally, that is subsisting entirely on SNAP and welfare benefits, who had their home paid for by the government, go to free schools, get free medical care, and they're stuck with bills in their mother's basement, and they're going to say, I'm done. I'm crashing out. I'm voting for the communist. Because once you get those kids addicted to the nectar of free stuff from the government, you never go back. That's a bad drug. That's why these men are weeping. These men fought against totalitarianism. They fought against the government as God, not God as God, whether that be the Soviet Union, whether that be Nazi Germany. They fought for a fundamentally deist society centered around Christian principles, centered around taking care of those who live here, not being the landing spot welfare for the entire third world who hates us. They've seen their neighborhoods, way of life, culture atrophy and deteriorate and disintegrate. They've seen the Christian population of this nation be cut in half, and that's not what they fought for. They fought, in their own words, for this. Go back to the first chart. They fought so that 55% of their cohort could be married and buy a home by the age of 30. And that is what we must preserve, or restore, better yet, because the generation that was set to preserve it didn't. They failed. It is one of the most catastrophic failures in any nation for all time. I would argue the single most catastrophic failure in the history of all peoples and all countries is staring at you right now on the screen. That the generations directly after World War II decided to point the treasure, the borders, and all of the energy of society on opening up America to people who did not build this country, did not fight these wars, did not create this place, who are here to parasitically take advantage of the best country on the earth and care nothing for the people that actually did fight, die, and build. They did nothing for them. They look at them with spite. They spit on them and their children. They center all of society around insulting Christians, fathers, mothers, parents. Those of us who wish to actually produce and create were penalized for it. Those of us who pay the bills of society, those rates and bills get ever higher with every passing moocher and parasite who comes into the system in order to come here to not work and not build and to simply change our nation fundamentally forever by bringing us a strand of communism, socialism, Marxism that you see, of course, now totally and completely reanimating the corpse of the Democrat Party. That is not what those World War II veterans fought for. Go ask them to a man, and there's very few of them left breathing and walking the earth today, sadly. Did you fight for open borders? Did you fight for communism? Did you fight for total government control over your health care? Did you fight for unaffordable homes, groceries, and gasoline? Is that what a world superpower looks like? Is that what the victors of World War II look like? No, in fact, the country itself reflects the loser mentality of a nation that's lost a great war. And what was that war? The war that we really lost was the war of globalism. The atomization of our country and what made it great. The destruction, shredding, and rending, not just in this generation, not just over the last 4 years or 5 years. This is not, oh, look, Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, they did it. It's not even look at Barack Obama, they did it. Put up the chart one more time. I'm going to get ready, ladies and gentlemen. This chart's going to be up day and night on this program. This happened at a absolutely catastrophic decline through the 1980s, 90s, 2000s. Before I was born, this trend had well started. It had already dropped by 10 points. And then it just collapsed once globalism happened. The true globalism of the 1990s. No. They have sold us lock, stock, and barrel. And people are coming after President Trump for this. Okay, he's president. That's just what happens when you're president. You gotta take the punches, whether you deserve them or not. That's just the way it works. Okay, I will not be the one sitting here blaming Donald Trump, with one exception. The administration has to act. I was in the White House for 4 solid hours of meetings on Friday to talk about this critical issue: housing, marriages. It all stems from the same thing. If a young man can't buy a house, then he doesn't want a wife. If the wife isn't with a man who has a piece of property that is secure, then she doesn't want children. And that's how you end America. If the median home buyer is 40 years old, past the age of fertility, then your country's done. Your people are through. No man wants to bring his wife home to a group house, and no woman wants to raise her children in an apartment building, one room, with 100 strangers. Do you understand? It's that simple. And this has been a generational betrayal that President Trump has, in fact, inherited. If anything, you can see that President Trump's first term, at the very least, the trend line got cranked and slowed a bit, right? Just a little bit. It flattened just a bit. But there's only so much you can do. This is the battle of our time. And those World War II veterans weeping on camera will be well right to do so, because America is, in fact, lost on this trajectory. Our great battle will not be against foreign adversaries, but the adversaries within our nation. Our great World War II battle doesn't require us to get on landing boats because the enemy's already here. We don't have to cross an ocean. We don't have to storm a beach. The enemy is within our shores, within our government. The godless Marxist that wishes to take this away from you, you will own nothing. You'll be happy. During COVID, they closed the churches and they opened up the liquor stores, the pornography shops, and the casinos. They kept them open and they shut down your church and stopped you from going to the beach with your children or the playground. Do you understand that was the most mask-off moment in history? What they demand of you is your soul, because they view themselves as gods. Now, God will strike them down in this life or the next, but they view themselves as gods, and they don't acknowledge God. And that's what makes our movement special. So my Veterans Day message is to get you right with Jesus. God is God, and he won't be mocked. What makes us different as a movement than the atomizationists on the left that says, F it, just communism all the time. Communism, now, today, and forever. That's what they say now. That's what they're done. That's what they've embraced. Murder our enemies, kill for power, communism. The antidote to that is God. 93% of Republicans believe in God. Approximately half of Democrats only believe in God. And that number is probably high. God gives us life. God gives us liberty. God gives us the ability to pursue happiness. We are the party of those three things. That means we are the inheritor of the American dream. They are not. They are something totally and completely foreign to our land and our nation, to our American experience. They are the reason why our World War II veterans weep on Veterans Day. So are we going to fight and win? That is the great battle before us. That's our D-Day. That's our Iwo Jima. This, ladies and gentlemen, is our battle. Do we have what it takes to win? I guess we'll see. That's what we're going to be fighting for on this program. God bless our veterans. They did their part. They were betrayed here at home. And now it is time for our own revolution. It is time for our own restoration. And it's time for our own battlefield victories. This is what we seek, ladies and gentlemen. This is what we're going to keep fighting for. So if you believe in that, then you're in the right place.